Alright, what's up everyone? Welcome to another episode of Battling 101 Team Building. Today we're going to be making a Zygarde team. Now Zygarde's pretty interesting. It has a Dragon Ground typing, which is very good. It shares it with Garchomp in the overused metagame. But one thing that separates Zygarde from Garchomp, apart from the shitty ability in Aura Break compared to Rough Skin, is that Zygarde has Glare, Extreme Speed, Coil, and Dragon Dance, and those are four very good moves. Now, what we're going to be doing here is we're going to be using more of a support/cleaner type of Zygarde. I'm not a fan of the Coil or Dragon Dance set so much right now, especially since there are a lot of bulky things such as like Slowbro, just things like that, or like Hippowdon or Ferrothorn, things like that, just really bulky stuff that hinder sweeps in general. The Zygarde sets up very slow, and the conditions in which Zygarde can set up, they're very hard to get down. So I'm just going to be using Zygarde as a supporter, and this means that I'm going to be using Glare. Now Glare is a very good move because it completely paralyzes anything. Now this includes ghost types, it includes ground types. So this is a very useful move, and a lot of people don't expect it because, let's be honest here, Zygarde is not that common. So we're going to be using Glare Zygarde here, and Glare is a very good move for slow, heavy hitting stuff. For example, Mega Gardevoir, for example. That's a very good example of like a pretty slow Pokemon, base 100, that has insane amount of power, and it just completely rips holes through teams. So what we're going to be doing is we're going to be pairing this with a wall breaker, such as Mega Charizard Y. Now Mega Charizard Y is great because it completely 2-hit KOs most, if not everything, from the overused metagame, save for stuff like, I guess, Chansey, Latias, maybe Altaria. We're going to be using just Focus Blast, Fire Blast, and Solar Beam with Roost. And one thing that would pair off really well with Zygarde and Charizard Y would be, number one, a Defogger, because let's be honest here, if you're going to use a Charizard, then you might as well have to run a Defogger or some kind of entry hazard removal, because you don't want to be taking 50% every time you switch in if your opponent gets Stealth Rocks up, as well as your own kinds of entry hazards. Now for our own entry hazards, we're going to be using a defensive core here with Clefable and Ferrothorn. Now Clefable and Ferrothorn are our entry hazards combination, and it also serves as the backbone to this entire team. Now Clefable is going to be running the Stealth Rocks, and Ferrothorn is going to be running the Spikes. Now this is really nice because it wears down your opponent's team very quickly. So stuff, for example, like Heatran, right? That's going to be worn down pretty quickly. Tyranitar is going to be worn down pretty quickly, as well as Scissors, right? Scissors are going to be worn down quickly. I'd also have to say bulky stuff like Venusaurs, or maybe Assault Vest Raikous, you know, just stuff like that. Stuff that has respectable amounts of bulk that don't really have a reliable source of recovery. And in order to discourage other Defog users, as well as get some additional priority, because we're going to be using Extreme Speed on our Zygarde, and I'll explain why later, but we're going to be using Bisharp as a way to discourage Defog users, as well as an additional way to counteract Bisharp. Bisharp can be very, very annoying against this team, so we're just going to be running a fast Bisharp with low kick, just so we can get the easy kill on other Bisharps, Tyranitars, and bulky Heatrans. So the purpose of Zygarde right here is essentially that it's a catch-all Pokemon. It's a cleaner late game, and it can also be used early game to get kills. Now it might sound counterproductive to use something like Glare alongside Extreme Speed. We're going to be using Stone Edge and Earthquake with it, no substitute, because I just like using it as a pivot kind of Pokemon, switch right in with its bulk, and then use an Extreme Speed, use an Earthquake, Stone Edge or whatever, or use a Glare to predict the switch. Substitute, I feel like it wastes a lot of health, and it's only really good if you want a more slower paced game, but this team tries to play a little bit more fast-paced. Extreme Speed is really good in this metagame, especially since Talonflame lays the hurt on this team. So weakened Talonflames, they're just picked off easily by Zygarde. Fast Pokemon in general that get worn down quickly with Spikes. For example, Starmie, I don't know if... Okay, yeah, Starmie's here. Starmie gets worn down really quickly with spikes, and you'll see Starmies try to come in a lot on this team to spin away the hazards. So if you manage to double into Zygarde while your opponent brings in Starmie, you can potentially just pick them off with extreme speed, and then you get a free kill, and then you get to have spikes on your opponent's side of the field for the duration of the game, and that is just great. So the purpose of this team is to just lay out the hazards and then wall break, and if you have anything left over, then just clean with Zygarde. And as well as we have priority with Zygarde and Bisharp, and then we have the Defogs, so we have a little bit of everything with this team, and I really like that. And it's pretty unorthodox because Zygarde, a lot of people don't know how to play Zygarde. A lot of them will just predict that you're running some sort of setup set, but I feel like in this current metagame, the Glare support Zygarde is a pretty neat thing to use. Now, you could also try Dragon Tail with the Zygarde, but again, I just like the coverage that Earthquake and Stone Edge bring, and Extreme Speed and Glare are just valuable things to this team. So yeah, our Zygarde has Glare, Earthquake, Stone Edge, Extreme Speed with leftovers. It has 112 HP, that's a leftovers number I believe, and then we have nearly max attack, and then we have 148 speed. Now 148 speed allows you to outspeed Adamant max speed Gyarados, so you can Stone Edge before it gets up a Dragon Dance, which is always pretty nice to have. We have a Ferrothorn. We just have the standard Ferrothorn set here, Protect, Spikes, Gyro Ball, and Leech Seed. Standard spread here, maximizes bulk. We have Latios here. We're using it over Latias because we just want a little bit more like offense to this team. And I honestly think that if you're not using Healing Wish on Defog Latias, you're doing it wrong. So Draco Meteor, Psyshock, Defog, and Surf. I'm using Surf because I've been seeing a lot more special defense, Hippodons, and Blitzcores on the ladder lately, so Surf is a pretty good option to have. Just Timid Nature, Max, you know the drill. And we have Moonblast, Stealth Rock, Soft Boil, and Thunder Wave for the Clefable. Magic Guard because nothing on this team particularly likes status. And yeah, that's pretty much it. We are using Stealth Rocks in combination with Spikes from Ferrothorn. This is the defensive backbone on your team. When you play this team, you'll realize that these two are usually the last to go. We have Mega Charizard Y to just break holes in your opponent's team. Again, nothing too flashy here, just Fire Blast, Solar Beam, Focus Blast, and Roost. Just go max here, and you'll be seeing that like a lot of teams will be leading with things that are really weak to Charizard Y, so you'll be using this as a lead a lot. And last but not least, we have Bisharp. We have Bisharp with Low Kick, Sucker Punch, Knockoff, and Iron Head. This is Jolly Nature, just because other Bisharp are really fucking annoying to deal with. It's just really annoying. Like, if they come in on the Clefable or like the Latios or whatever, then more often than not, they're just going to have like a field day with you. So just keep your Bisharp for extra coverage in terms of priority, and Low Kick just comes in clutch when Bisharp is about to wreck your entire team. So that's it for today. Just as a recap, we have the entry hazards, we have the wall breaking, we have the Defog, and then we have Zygarde as our support / cleaner Pokemon. So we got it all with this team. It's a pretty fun team. I wouldn't say it's the best team, but it can catch a lot of people off guard. Always, never underestimate the element of surprise. That's all I have to say with this team. Zygarde throws a lot of people off guard. So just keep that in mind when you're playing this team. Don't instantly assume that your opponent knows what the hell kind of Zygarde set you're running, because it's very hard to predict what kind of Zygarde set your opponent is running. And that's all I have for today, so I'll see you guys next week. Peace out.